Mega Man X is one of my favorite games of all time. I grew up with this one and played through it so many times, I even own it complete in box on Super Nintendo. And it got me thinking, I've actually never played any of the other X games in the Mega Man franchise. So what I'm going to be doing is playing through all the major installments and reviewing them, starting with the one that started it all, Mega Man X. Mega Man X marked the 16-bit debut of everyone's favorite blue platforming fighting robot. The raw quality detail in the sprites and animation still blows me away to this day. The levels are super well done, with a ton of different ways to tackle the order in which Mavericks to fight. There's so much good in how this game feels to play. The intro sequence alone is the gold standard for a tutorial in video games. Everything is laid out perfectly for you to experiment and learn new moves to the series, like wall jumping. Mega Man X also has a pretty robust story. When you boot up the game for the first time, you're greeted with a bunch of context for where in the Mega Man world this game is set, far in the future from the original series. I'll be honest in that I was never super into the lore of the Mega Man franchise, but I do appreciate the story beats that we do get to see on screen. Sigma is a bad robot guy that hurts people, and you gotta stop him and his pals since you guys like humans. Heavily simplified, but you get the drill. The intro lets you fight a new rival, Vile, who just sweeps the floor with you, and it's up to your new companion Zero to save you. It was actually Kenji Inafune's intention to completely redesign the Mega Man character for the X series, but was afraid this decision would alienate fans, so Zero's design was used for a new character, while X retained the iconic look to the original Mega Man. This game also featured Inafune in more of a planning role more than just being a character designer, but his designs are all over this game too. And since I love this game so much, what we're going to do is break down each of the stages and talk about them. Starting with anybody who's anybody knows you always gotta start on Chill Penguin stage for Mega Man X. It's almost a rite of passage to see if you've really played this game before. And that's so we can get the... Okay, we're gonna call these the Dash Boots. In Mega Man X, there are 4 armor upgrades to enhance your abilities that are all relatively good, but the best one is definitely the Dash Boots. Dashing is integral to better platforming, dodging, and overall greater movement. It feels so good to dash, jump, and move around with these. And can we talk about how this game has the option to remap the controls in the main menu? Such a great feature for a Super Nintendo game. Chill Penguin stage has pretty good music too. The ringing intro and lead melody really add a wintry vibe. I like it. And Chill Penguin himself is a pretty easy boss to beat with just your Buster, so it makes an excellent starting stage all around. Defeating Chill Penguin gives you the Shotgun Ice, which is pretty okay, but it has its vital uses later on in the run. Now you get a few options next, but the order I personally always do is... Storm Eagle's theme rocks. I think this might be my favorite theme in the whole game. His stage is also really cool. He has control of the airport and there's a lot of verticality and bottomless pits to avoid, so it feels very vast. There's also a handful of secrets you can get on your first visit too, including another armor upgrade. The head parts, okay, I can live with that. Which lets you smash certain blocks for more secrets. You can also find a sub-tank here, which will fill up your health pickups if your health is full, and can be used to restore your health in a pinch. Storm Eagle is located in the aircraft, which as a kid, it just blew my mind that it wasn't a typical boss door transition to reach him. Fighting him is also really straightforward with just your Buster, and with the Dash Boots it makes it a real breeze when he starts trying to blow you away with his big wings. I also really love his character design. I think his design overall is my favorite of any of the Mavericks in this game. His ability Storm Tornado is also my favorite enemy weapon as well. It deals massive damage and just stays on screen for so long. It's really important that we do Spark Mandrill stage next, because this is where Mega Man X starts to really shine, in that your actions have consequences. Since we defeated Storm Eagle at his airport, his airship crashes down onto the power plant where Spark Mandrill lives, and it just messes up everything here. Normally the power is functional and you have Sparks dashing across the floor trying to get you, but cutting off the power by defeating Storm Eagle first makes this stage much easier. There's also this mini-boss that is such a pain if you have to fight him normally because he sucks up power and can zap you when the power's on, but since we defeat him first, he doesn't get that ability anymore. I love how even the order you pick of the stages in Mega Man X greatly shifts the gameplay. It adds so much variety. And yes, Spark Mandrill's theme absolutely kicks ass. The same composer who did Storm Eagle's stage did this one, and that guy only did 2 tracks for the game, and they're the best 2 tracks. What a resume. Spark Mandrill stage also has these big turtles that just get mowed down when the Storm Tornado. Another great reason to do this stage after Storm Eagle. Once we get to the boss, our handy shotgun ice lets us do this real fun trick. And that is Spark Mandrill. Next up is Armored Armadillo, and whoa, yeah, there's a lot of fast movement in this stage. Just a lot of enemies on screen that even for a Super Nintendo game has, in my experience, very minimal slowdown, only a couple moments here. That is really the only slowdown I experience in the game, which is pretty impressive for all that's going on screen. Being underground, there's a lot of mining and digging motifs here. The stage music, as always, just rocks so hard. A big component in the stage is avoiding these huge bulldozer things, which sometimes guard a handful of upgrades. And with that and the really fast-paced sections, I kind of feel like the stage is just okay. It can be more of a spectacle than a challenge, if that makes sense. And it kind of feels like there isn't too much going on. Since we have the electric spark from Spark Mandrill, we can shock the armor off of the previously armored armadillo for a quick fight. He also gives us Rolling Shield, which is pretty good, but it only gets way better later. At this point, I kind of do the last 4 in any order. Launch Octopus's stage is primarily underwater, and the water physics actually don't hinder you like you would expect. You get crazy height on your jumps, and you aren't sluggish whatsoever, so it's not a stereotypical bad water level like many other games of the era have. However, there are a lot of spikes in this stage that can be annoying to navigate. There's also a few submarine sub-bosses, you see what I did there, that can suck and blow you around, that I really just don't like. These guys just suck. And okay, I didn't mean that one, but you get the idea. This might be my least favorite stage in the game, and my least favorite track too. This stage does have the really cool snake boss fights though, so that's something. Launch Octopus himself is pretty straightforward. He's also purple on the box art for some reason. Any Mega Man superfans know how this happened? Is it just an honest mistake? Once we defeat him, we get homing torpedoes, which home to enemies. Very useful. Coming up next is Sting Chameleon, with a nice 4C stage and a good mixture of water puddles and underground caves. Okay, editor's note here, I just learned from making this video that Sting Chameleon stage is only flooded if you beat Launch Octopus first. I only thought there were 2 stage cause and effect parts of this game, but no. If you don't defeat Launch Octopus first, there's no water here. I'm still learning things about this game so many years later. It's crazy. Okay, back to the video. This stage feels very classic in its design, and I love the scenery and background forests here. Hidden towards the top of the cave is a secret boss fight that can sometimes just take forever because this guy has so much health. I do love how he starts to smoke though as you chip his health away. It's a very nice visual detail. This fight is worth it because you do get the body parts, which reduce damage by 50%. Very nice. It might seem weird to get this good upgrade so late into the run, but for me, it's fine. Sting Chameleon himself can be kind of a tricky fight. I usually just stick with Buster for him because it's easy to get a good pattern in. He will go invisible while moving around based on your position, so you have to make sure you keep your distance. Defeating him gives you the Chameleon Sting, which is okay. Now this is a song, possibly the best song in the game. Boomer Kuwanger's stage is a classic vertical gauntlet as you climb your way up the top of his tower. You have to be a master of your wall jumps and dash to get through this one in one piece. I love it for its unique approach. The short but sweet elevator section, the scaling of the side of the tower outside. Some of these turrets can be tricky, and making one mistake can send you falling fast and losing a lot of progress. It feels like a triumph making your way to the boss room. Boomer Kuwanger himself is... Okay, pause. We're gonna put this to bed right now. What is a Kuwanger? The word Kuwanger comes from the word Kuwagata, which is Japanese for stag beetle. He was the only one of the 8 Mavericks from Mega Man X that wasn't renamed in the English version. Okay, I guess it makes sense that the Mavericks were renamed. What are everyone else's names? Okay. Burnin' Nomander. Lastly, we have Flame Mammoth. His stage also has a great effect in that when we defeat Chill Penguin first, all the lava is dried up, which makes navigating the stage a lot simpler. This is usually a giant factory with like conveyor belts and a lava forge, I guess. Really industrial feeling. And his theme has sort of a heavy tone that just feels industrial. The last armor upgrade is here too, and it's right up. It's up here. Oh, thank God. I always struggle to get this one. The arm parts, which gives you an extra charge level to your charge shot. The damage doesn't do any more than a regular charge shot against bosses, but the second ability this upgrade possesses is what makes it so great. The ability to charge up the Maverick abilities. So many of these are so good and so useful, some of which we will see later on in the game. Wrapping up this stage, Flame Mammoth is kind of annoying. He will jump and cause the stage to shake, which if you're on the ground when it happens, it'll stun you. He also spits out some magma that can leave you caught. You can cut off his trunk with the Cutter Boomerang, which is pretty funny. Last ability we get is Fire Wave, a continuous flamethrower, which we only use one time to get a heart container, and never again. With this, we can now tackle the Sigma stages. But first, we do have to go grab the hidden Hadoken from Street Fighter. Yep, Hadoken is in the game. Very cool Easter egg, though. I do think it's very fun that this is here. But I don't need it, because I'm a professional. Once all 8 Mavericks are defeated, we can briefly meet up with Zero, who immediately wants to split up after you just met up with him. Jerk. The first part of the first stage involves you going up this vertical ascent that really gives me Mega Man 2 vibes from Wily's Castle. And I hate this, because these moving platforms are so hard to see, and there's these flying enemies that touch you with their spiky feet. Ugh. As soon as you catch up with Zero, he gets owned by Vile, so now you get to fight him. But it goes as poorly as the first time since he has his sweet mech suit. But now Zero can break out and sacrifice himself to get Vile on an even playing field for you, so you can finally face him 1v1. This sequence is pretty quick, but I love the storytelling on screen for a Mega Man game. You can hear the fight of Zero and Vile as you approach the boss room, the text on screen, the context, the character growth, it's all pretty good. However, Zero does fade away, succumbing to his injuries. And he would have given you his Buster if we didn't already struggle to get the upgrade in Flame Mammoth stage. Dang it! I should have just waited. The actual stages in Sigma's Fortress are pretty straightforward. Boomer Kuwanger? Yes, the X series unfortunately does the classic Mega Man bit of making you fight every boss again at the end, but at least the bosses are a little bit more spread out here. The final boss for this stage is one I always have the most trouble with. A giant spider! Why'd it have to be spiders? Nah, but this boss is not fun. It has the classic puzzle of taking the first path it finds, and you have to solve the puzzles really quick to avoid the spider when it comes down, and as you chip away at its health it just gets faster and faster, and it can also spawn baby spiders. You have to do so much thinking to defeat this guy. You're supposed to use Shotgun Ice, but the timing on his weak point makes it so hard to hit sometimes. I usually just rock the Buster so I can just lock in. Sigma Stage 2's boss is Ranga Banga. And it's actually pretty unique because the walls move in and you can't touch the floor in the middle, so it keeps you on your toes. Chameleon Sting is his weakness, and it's worked super well thanks to the spread. Sigma Stage 3 has a car dragon thing, and his weakness is Cutter Boomerang, but I don't like Cutter Boomerang, so I just use a combination of whatever I'm feeling like. Homing missiles work a lot better in my opinion, because you can spend more time dodging and let the missiles just do their work. Out of the 3 Sigma stages, they're kind of alright. A lot of them is just repeating the boss fights from previously in the game, and they are a bit more spread out instead of having the classic one room to fight them back to back like older Mega Man games. And doing them this way does give you the option to have a password save between rooms, but ultimately they kind of feel like just a buffer to get to the end of the game. Not terrible, but just alright. They're okay. The final stage is just the ascent to fight Sigma. You have to fight 3 bosses back to back with no breaks. And what does Capcom do to help you? This enemy is called the Creeper. You may have noticed it when we were at Sting Chameleon stage, and it is the best enemy in the entire game for one reason, and one reason only, and that is right now. Thanks to our upgraded Buster, we can charge up the Rolling Shield ability to do this. For free, you can restore your health, weapons, farm lives, and fill up all of your E-tanks before fighting the bosses. Many a player have spent times with the creepers refueling for this final battle. Truly a legendary part of Mega Man X. Once you are refilled, it's time for the bosses. First, Sigma sends out his dog, Velgarder, which is pretty easy work with the shotgun ice. Next up is Sigma himself, and holy shit, he's a Jedi. Sigma used to give me trouble, but he has a really simple pattern that you can just do the same thing every time to kill him. After this, he has his final form with big, scary hands, but you just have to wall jump on top of the hands and use Rolling Shield to get most of the work in. When you're on the ground, you are in a huge danger zone with flames and lightning strikes, but keeping on top of the hands consistently gets him done in no time, and you beat the game. Peace has been restored, but the story is far from over. Mega Man X originally released in December of 1993 in Japan, with a North American release in January of 1994, a little bit over 30 years ago from today. For reference, it was released just 1 month after Mega Man 6 in Japan, but 2 months before Mega Man 6 debuted in North America. This seems weird to me, given how much of a huge upgrade this was, but Mega Man was incredibly popular during this period, and many people still had their NESs around for that classic Mega Man action. Today, Mega Man X is pretty affordable in its original Super Nintendo cartridge release, and you can also find it on the Mega Man X collection on PS2 and GameCube. Translator's note, do not buy the GameCube version because they switched the A and B buttons for jump and shoot and it feels wrong to play. Just avoid this version. A remake on the PSP called Mega Man Maverick Hunter X released in 2005, but I've yet to play it. Let me know if it's worth it. Today, the Mega Man Legacy Collection on modern consoles is really good and definitely worth your money. I had a great time playing this on the Nintendo Switch version for this video, but I believe you can also find this on PlayStation 4, Xbox, and Steam. Mega Man X has quite the legacy too, with lots of side games, cameos, and even some interesting crossovers. Oh my god! Oh man, this is great. Where are the bats? They're the bats! Oh my god, they're terrifying. This is a really small room. Alright, chill penguin. Even playing field. Oh shit! Oh, he's doing the penguins! Oh my god. They're so good. Okay. Get away from me! Get away from me! Oh, he's coming! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh fuck! There he is! Look at this little guy! He's my buddy! I love him. No! Mega Man X to me is a perfect video game. It is incredibly addicting with how good it feels to navigate the levels, control X, and use all his weapons. The stages are really diverse and look amazing. Such care and detail is put into everything, even little things like X breathing heavily when he takes a lot of damage, and X's sprite updating as you collect the armor pieces in any order. Enemy design complements your ability very well, and the game has multiple ways to tackle stages in any order you want, with the option to use any weapon you want for any scenario. Mega Man series specific strengths in part, but they all apply here for a great complete package. The hidden items and the sheer amount of attention to detail, from the order of stages you play affecting other stages, to the excellent animation, sprite details, and controls, this game launched Mega Man into the 16-bit era with a bang, and to me is the golden standard of what Mega Man should be. That's why for me, Mega Man X is firmly in S tier for the Mega Man X franchise. Just keep in mind, this is the game I've replayed time and time again, and the rest of the X games I'll be playing will be my first time playing them. So I might not have as much in-depth knowledge on them as this game, but you will get to see some first impressions of a well-respected series. And that is Mega Man X. It's always a real treat to be able to play through this game again and again, and if you made it this far into the video, thanks for sticking around to the end. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you can follow me as I play through all of the other Mega Man X games in the series, and until then, take care.